Alright everyone, this is Medipeakdp. This is going to be a quick discussion on PSYOPs, the truth, life, and how causality works out. You may take what you want in this information. I present this as the truth, non-dogmatically, and this is, you may, with the implications of this, you may wonder, what's next? There are a lot of tips I can provide, but this is not about giving you a template to run your life, because I'm not here to control your life, and I'm not a guru, and I'm here and I'm your friend. I'm your friend here. I'm just giving you information as a channel for truth as your friend. Hello, I'm your friend, Medipeakdp. This sort of explanation is not for the type of people who want to live a ignorant perception or want to stick to their previous beliefs or want to stick to their sense of la la land, I like to call it, or fantasy land or delusions that they have self-perpetuated into their old nightmare over generations. This explanation will give a truthful exposition at the root cause and the root sequencing as to how humanity has gotten into this stage, and as to who were the other beings that have been interacted and involved with our progression, evolution, and de-evolution as a species. Final warning, this will give you a new outlook. This is not to enforce any particular lifestyle or any particular way of thinking. This is the truth that I am presenting. You have the free will, like always, like as it's always been respected, ultimately, not by your political systems, that is a illusion, but by the general scope of how the planet functions. Now, we will move forward. We're gonna ask now. Don't need to put this seriously. It can be bleak. You can look at it very bleak, but you can take all this information I will explain and you can actually find some sort of joy in it. Because this is not about fear-mongering. This is not about pushing down some kind of shame. Because we've built up a collective shame and we're all exhausted from all the traumas that have been suppressed and built up over eons of us as a collective people on this planet. You can emphasize what people may represent, emphasize what people may allude themselves towards unknowingly, or they don't grasp the grander scheme of what they have interloped themselves in or what they have stood for. And maybe they have, and maybe they're openly doing this. Maybe they're openly enforcing inverted systems of thought and inverted systems of ideological perspectives. But to move past that, we're going to begin with how are the universal laws in effect on this planet. We have law of vibration, we have law of correspondence, we have law of cause and effect. These three laws are paramount to grasping how something can become so convoluted to the point where most would fail to even see an existence without the constructs that have been presented to them since birth and the generational programming that has been passed down generation to generation. You can call it an abyss of maddening belief systems that encrypts the minds of each person on this planet in one way or another. Or you can look at it as the sense of mind control or psychological operations. And I'd just like to give a preface.
Even something such as the Melchizedek cloister teachings can become also something that you can become dogmatic about and you can cling to. I say, it's there. You can be cognizant of it. You can try the techniques. You can work on dismantling your shadow body and activating other bodies like your hover bodies and your plasma body and your crystal body and your multidimensional morphogenetic fields and all those jargon. But guess what? Just play, just dance, just move in passion, move in free, just literally feel the inherent knowing of raw nature, raw being, raw living, raw energy. It's a very convoluted picture, one grand picture. Not just this universe, but all fields of reality is one. In this particular time matrix, also known as universe, there's so much causality to lead to our stage now over billions of years. If we look at the fact that, okay, this planet is considered very sought after real estate. It is considered the third dimension, Stargate 3. We have the halls of Amente and sphere of Amente. This planet has become a ground for energy harvesting and loose harvesting. It has become a prisonized consciousness trap. We have alien technology such as the moon, which memory wipe and use a blank slate technology for us to come right back with memories wiped. Therefore, we are susceptible to whichever programming we are given. And unwittingly to families or parents, they pass down generational programming that ensnares our consciousness and keeps us in limited perspectives in terms of religion and ideological perspectives that have been passed down, such as money and government, which are both slave-based systems. It is not easy to describe the true debacle of how we got to this point as a whole without truly having a first step of self-awareness and a first step of cognizance spiritually, at least to some degree, because everything works in a constant flowing change pattern, and it's cause and effect. These universal laws are always applied continuously. It becomes so convoluted when you pick apart the illusions and you discern and take in from different belief systems the nuggets of truth mixed with seeded deceptive lies, and you find out how the world is actually run in terms of its control and the psychological operations and mind control programs. You realize that there is facades and artificial constructs in all groups and concepts. There's hijacking and infiltration of groups such as the New Age movement. If you even want to pick apart way back in pre-ancient times, within fragmentations of God, because all is God, there was the overdose on free will, and it built up the desire to gain pride and gain the need for sustenance and siphoning of other parts of itself, and the need for control and dominion and enslavement. Certain entities cut themselves off from source and created a distorted architecture of 10-tree grid. This caused a distortion that lost its eternal feeding of its eternal expansive co-creation and created dominion and finite self-destructive implosion life. This is how we get to the stage of the intricately woven loose harvesting programs and structures worldwide. This planet is not simply an archonic prison, and it may seem that way. We can look at the fact that the largest psyop there is looking at all psyops in an infinite rabbit hole where it's scripts given to you. Now, you can look at sociology books or ontology books or philosophy book, and a lot of them kind of are filled with fluff, filler, word salads, these sort of terms. A lot of them are filled with this. And even though this is gonna be a 10-minute plus recording in total, I still feel as if this is a very basic rundown to get a very zoomed out grasp on how causality works and how the world really works on a very simplified scale. We're not even going to discuss the intricacies of control through Jesuit order, Zionist cabals, the Freemasonic orders, Council for Relations, Bilderberg groups, United Nations, World Health Organization, the history of our past 100 years, especially stemming from Bolshevik Revolution, which kicked off the motivations for the two world wars, the motivation behind the nanotechnology and the pandemic. As you can see, this all intertwines. So that's why this is a foot in the door. That's why this sort of content is not enforced that much, because the implications are extremely grand. Extremely. We're talking, okay, there's worldwide control through different extraterrestrials, dragon-like people, snake-like people, dolphin-like people, reptile-like people. Yep. Yes. Beautiful blonde women who are fake beautiful blonde women who stole the face of Alcyone, angelic humans, Nibiru and Pleiadians, Anunnaki? Yes. It's a roundabout, because people may wonder, okay, what do I do in my life after learning this information? I'm not giving you a template of what to do in your life. I have my channel. I give tips on health. I give tips on keeping a high vibratory presence internally and externally, and tips for health. But it's really not about enforcing any particular lifestyle, and it's really not about dogmatism anymore. Because if it was about dogmatism, what would that make this? It would be a weird, plastic, superficial understanding and grasp reality, which is really, it feels like it was meant to be this way in a very strange roundabout. It's like all this delusion and psyops, suffering and inversion. It's so convoluted, but was it really meant to be this way? So that the people who see the truth can really get a contrast? Or more so, was it all of this is a construct for loose harvesting and inverted mind control? I would say it's both, more so the latter. And I feel as if there's this urge once you gain all this information that you want to just escape, or you want to just completely be antisocial, or you just want to completely, I don't know, go to higher dimensions, and you start getting this weird craving of that sort of thing. But then you come to the realization, hey, yeah, I'm here on 3D. I'm not gonna just create projections and delusions for the rest of my life here. I'm supposed to alchemize this exact experience here. Now, the thing I'm currently, and I've experienced here and there, and you can start developing the ascension process, and you can start looking at things with new light, fresh eyes. It's a whole planet. There's so many paradigms and ways of thinking and ways of living. It's not going to be like you enforce a particular way, because that's the beauty of free will. It's just a truly double-edged sword. It's more than a double-edged sword. It's an infinite-edged sword. But it has the seeming, to our perception, has the drawback of, okay, now with free will it can create the need for control. It can create the need for cutting off from source. I mean, the willpower and decision to do so. They cut off from source. And that sort of thing it happened. And we've reached this stage, and humanity has had wipeouts from our seedings as people. And it's just, you find it amazing how, okay, well, does this imply that there's one true teaching? How would everyone else would look at that at face value without knowing exactly what the teachings are? You try to explain that. It just sounds like you're trying to be dogmatic about a religion. And it's not easy to explain to people that the MCEO teachings that posted their plate were the originations of all religions on this planet, and they all stem from there and created their own distortions within it. Basically, MCEO teachings are like omnism mixed with metaphysics, mixed with spiritual sciences, mixed with history. I don't know what else, what other system of truth can have that claim, and also the claim that was originally given as foresight, insight, and hindsight from the Ionic Council's 950 billion? 950 billion. Yes. It's really not easy, because, when I try to pick these things apart, I'm not really visualizing and looking at all the different things going on. Someone could be a baker, someone could be having a school Christian, someone could be Buddhist and dogmatic about Buddhism, somebody could be on a cruise ship, somebody could be dancer, somebody could be prostitute, somebody could be in the political system unknowing that it's controlled by aliens, different negative aliens. Somebody could be, introduced to infiltrated new age, because very sad that the new age movement has been infiltrated because if someone in the mainstream takes a peek at it and that's what they're shown, that's the perception of spirituality. It's very unfortunate, actually. And I feel like a lot of the spiritual influencers, they might be actually completely unbeknownst to them. But I find it quite strange. It only took me a few months till I stumbled across Ashiana's work, and I stumbled across the Search Glossary. I really don't know how most people are not mentioning this sort of thing, because I feel like it may be once you open the door, it's just so grand of a door. It's opened up so much more. It makes things so much more complicated that it's just a whole nother layer to things. It's not as simple as a simple fable or story. We're talking about complex geometry, science, unified field physics, numerical patterns, geometry, dimensional, interdimensional physics, sciences, history, advanced hybridization programs, mind control programs. Every last bit of it is just a whole new layer. So I feel like even with these hijacked, or unbeknownst to them, hijacked spiritual communities, it's it's like, how far do you commit to this sort of thing? It really is just, it's sad, but it's just how it is when it has this exterior notion of it being some sort of religion or cult, when it's the information. They even say how literally Yeshua, the people that all these Christians may look at this as something of New Age. They don't even know that the person they worship and what it's based off, the Essenes, there were two Yeshuas who were trying to translate the Cloister Door Torah plates. They had a few of the plates. They had, I don't know the particular number, but there's 12 main plates, and they had a few of them. And there is truth to John the Baptist. So when atheists or other scholars retcon Christianity, don't talk about the Essenes, why don't most people talk about Essenes? I really don't know why. It's very important. I have books on the Essene origins of Christianity, the Gnostics. And I would say, besides obviously the closer to our Torah plates, the most accurate religions are the Gnostics and the Hindus. And MCEO talks about both of them. And Buddhism. It's a very convoluted mess because it's just how things ended up being on this planet. And it's great to preface that the true intentions is not to enforce externalized worship, or enforce slavery, or enforce sacrifice, or enforce inversion, or enforce the need for scarcity, the need for fear. None of these are values aligned to ever-expansive co-creation, infinite love and playfulness and absurdity and wonder. It's all a crazy dream simulation. It's a whole mixed bag. It's really just the one big movie and story. And everyone can take their piece of the puzzle and piece it together like one big paradigm that's amalgamated into the truth. And you can always count on your inner sovereignty to bring out the true power of love and unity that is our real connection to ever-expansive co-creation in this time matrix and all other matrices. You are love, you are creator of this matrix, you are plasma, you are liquid, you are light, you are gas, you are solid, you are matter, you are etheric, you are love, you are wonder, you are curiosity, you are spontaneity, you are playful. I love you all. Stay golden, stay shiny, stay dark and black and shiny.